Greetings. Welcome to the first in a series of tutorials taking you through the hit rate management information system. Today's tutorial will be speaking about logging into the system as also creating a deployment. To start, you enter a username which consists of a divisional code followed by a period, then the last name and your first initial. So this username I'm using, it represents a user from the St. Andrew South division. So you enter password and login. Now we are at our home screen. It's now time for us to create a deployment. So under manage deployment to the top left hand corner, we click create deployment. Here we are greeted with a screen showing saying create shift. So here all we need to do is select a duration, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Start date 17th, end date 17th, shift commander, DSP, Mattox, shift clerk, Constable Bryant, and save. We have just created the shift within which we can create multiple deployments. So within a shift there can be multiple patrols being deployed or multiple operations being carried out. Also within each specific deployment there can be several activities, and we'll demonstrate that as we go along. So as we're here, we see this screen, it is saying no data to display. This simply means that whatever deployment we create now will be the first deployment within the shift we have just created. So to create our first deployment, we click add new deployment. The form pops up, and now we're required to select a station. Duane Park 1, Duane Park 1 doing mobile patrol. We have a date 6th to 17th. Start time 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Special initiative no. Team leader Sergeant Basco. Total police 2. JDF zone 25. This zone, some divisions don't utilize zone, so that you can use a specific area where the patrol is being deployed if no zone is utilized in your division. Having completed the form, you select save deployment. So here we can see that we have just created our first deployment, which is Duane Park 1 doing mobile patrol in the St. Andrew South division. Right, having created deployment, it's now time for us to create our activity or add the related activity to this specific deployment. So to the left, beside edit deployment, there's an arrow which we click. This makes the activity window available for us to add new activities or view the activities related to Duane Park 1. So now there's no data to display, so currently there's no activity for Duane Park 1. So we select add new activity. The window, the form pops up. We click our activity type. We'll be doing a snap raid. So that's 3 snap raids during which no vehicle was searched, stopped, no vehicle search. This we have 12 person search, 3 building search, 0 ticket issued, and we recovered 50 rounds. And then we save activity. So our first activity for Duane Park 1 is 3 snap parade that were carried out and the related results. Additionally, there may be another activity that Duane Park 1 conducted. So to add another activity to this, we simply click add new activity. Then spot check. How many spot checks? 4. Many vehicles stop? 14. How many vehicles search? 5. Person search? 10. Building 0. And to make it a little bit more interesting, we're going to say for this spot check we issued 6 tickets and we save activity. So now we have successfully added 2 set of activities to Duane Park 1 deployment with Duane Park 1. Alright, the key thing to bear in mind is that whenever you are seeing the activity table, the activity table listing the various activities, it relates to the deployment immediately above it. So here's our activity table. These activities are directly related to this specific deployment above it. So wherever we are seeing the activity table, it relates to the deployment above it. So say we are through completing activities for Duane Park 1. It's now time for us to add another deployment. To do that, we simply click add new deployment at the top. And again, we are presented with a screen to populate with our deployments data. So again, we have Hunts Bay. So for this deployment, our call sign is Hunts Bay 1. And the type of patrol is mobile patrol again. And again, it's the 16th, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Special initiative. We have said this may be an anti-gang or anti-robbery, whichever it may be. We have Corporal endings, and easily 3, so total of 4. 0 JDF patrol zone. They'll be focusing on Portia Simpson Miller Square. So that's their area of focus. So they don't have a zone there, so Portia Simpson Miller Square is their area of focus. So we save deployments. So here, as we can see, we have 2 deployments. One Hunts Bay 1, and there's another deployment Duane Park 1. However, our activity box is still activated. To remove our activities listing, we simply click here, or to view it again, we click again, right? So as we can see, for each deployment there's an arrow beside each deployment, and there's an arrow in the row for each deployment. So in order for us to activate activities that Hunts Bay 1 did, that is the last deployment we added, we simply click the arrow beside Hunts Bay 1 here. So this arrow in the row where Hunts Bay 1 is, and when we click that arrow, realize that there's no activity here because we didn't add any. So now it's time for us to add activities that Hunts Bay 1 conducted during their tour of duty. So to do that, we click add new activity. Hunts Bay 1 they didn't do any snap parade, but they did VCP. They did 4 VCP. They stopped 20 vehicles. They searched 6. They searched a total of 14 persons, 0 buildings. They issued 20 tickets. Um, 50, 20 offensive weapon, and we save activity. So here again we are saying the activity relates to the deployment immediately above. So here we have Hunts Bay 1, and these are the activities that Hunts Bay 1 carried out, and for this one they only conducted 4 VCPs. So again, to add another deployment, we'll simply add deployment and populate it with the relevant data, and then we would, after we would have added that deployment, we would click the arrow beside the deployment. So if we had added a third deployment, the arrow would be here, so we would click the arrow, get the drop down for the activity and populate it with the activities. But for now, here we have active. To view the activities for Duane Park 1, we click this arrow. To view the activities for Hunts Bay 1, we click this arrow. And that's about it, how you go about adding data to the hit rate management system. However, additionally, say for instance, for some reason, you click the home button and the data you're actually entering has been removed from the screen. You have changed page, whether intentionally or accidentally. You can recover the last piece of work you were doing by simply clicking edit deployment, locate the shift you would have just completed. So locate the shift here, and then here's our 2 deployments that we just created. So deployment with Duane Park 1 with our raid and a spot check, and again Hunts Bay 1 with 4 VCPs. So if for any reason you're removed from the screen, or you navigate away from the screen that you're using to enter the deployment, you would not go ahead and create another deployment again. You would not go ahead and create another deployment, which, and by creating a new shift and all of that, you would simply go to edit deployment, search for the shift that you were actually working in, click on it, and continue where you had left off. Thank you very much.